Have you ever noticed how fragile those first few minutes of the morning can be? Before the coffee, before the emails, before the news cycle pulls you in, there is a quiet space where the day has not yet claimed you. It is a space so small we often miss it, yet so powerful it can shape the entire course of our lives. Most of us leap over that space. We wake up already chasing, already worrying, already carrying yesterday's failures or tomorrow's fears. We rush headlong into the day as if survival depends on it. But what if the very first words you spoke to yourself could redirect the entire current of your day? The Buddha called this right intention. It is the simple but radical idea that how you orient your mind at the beginning will guide how you walk through everything that follows. Right intention is not about forcing your will on the world. It is about choosing to align your thoughts with compassion, mindfulness, and wisdom. In modern terms, it is like setting the compass before you begin the journey. If the compass points even a few degrees off, by the end of the path you are miles away from where you hope to be. But if you set it with clarity at the start, each step moves in harmony with your deepest values. Science has caught up with this ancient wisdom. Psychologists tell us that the first frame effect of the morning, those initial self-statements and perceptions, creates a cognitive bias that colors how we interpret the rest of the day. Begin with thoughts of scarcity, and you'll see lack everywhere. Begin with thoughts of compassion, and you'll notice opportunities to care where you never saw them before. The Buddha didn't need neuroscience to prove this, he saw it directly in the human heart. But today we can appreciate just how deeply our inner dialogue programs our outer reality. This is why many spiritual traditions emphasize morning rituals. Christians speak of morning prayers, yogis of sadhana, Stoics of the dawn meditation, and Buddhists of mindful breathing at sunrise. All point to the same truth. Mornings are not trivial. They are decisive. They are the first brushstrokes on the canvas of your day. And once those strokes are painted, the entire picture is influenced by them. But here is the problem. Most mornings, we don't paint at all. We let someone else choose the colors. The buzzing phone, the notifications, the unfinished tasks. All of these rush into the sacred silence of dawn and set our mood before we even realize it. We allow chaos to hold the brush. No wonder we feel scattered, drained, and reactive. What if you reclaimed that sacred space? What if, in the moment between waking and doing, you chose your own first words, deliberate, compassionate, wise? What if, instead of saying, "I'm already behind," you said, "I meet this day with peace"? That one shift could ripple outward to how you treat your family, how you respond at work, and even how you carry yourself in moments of conflict. On this channel, Dharma Veins, we explore these timeless truths not as abstract philosophy but as living practices for modern life. Today we will walk through 8 powerful affirmations rooted in Buddhist wisdom. These are not empty slogans. They are like seeds planted in the soil of your mind, seeds that grow into presence, clarity, and calm strength. Each one is designed to anchor you when life feels overwhelming, to soften you when you are hard on yourself, and to remind you that peace is already within reach. Think of them as tools for reprogramming your morning. Instead of being swept away by autopilot thoughts, you will learn how to guide the mind with gentle authority. Instead of rushing into the noise of the world, you will learn to pause, breathe, and enter the day with intention. And intention, as the Buddha taught, is the foundation upon which all transformation begins. So before you scroll, before you plan, before you allow the noise to take over, come with me. Let's explore these 8 affirmations together. They may look simple, but simplicity is often where the deepest power lies. Speak them not just as words, but as truths you allow to settle in your heart. This is not about fixing your life in one morning. It is about setting the direction, aligning your compass, and remembering that peace begins not out there, but right here, in the first breath of the day. 1. Today, I will meet myself and the world with compassion. Compassion, or metta in the Buddhist tradition, is not simply a virtue we practice occasionally, it is the very foundation of awakening. The Buddha placed loving kindness at the heart of the path because he recognized how easily the human mind turns against itself. Before we extend kindness outward, we must first learn to meet our own pain, flaws, and mistakes with tenderness. Most people live as though compassion is something reserved for others, the sick, the poor, the suffering. Yet without self-compassion, every act of kindness risks becoming hollow. Because we are offering what we do not allow ourselves to receive. Think about the way many of us wake in the morning. The first voice we hear is not compassionate at all. It's the critic. You didn't do enough yesterday. You look tired. You're falling behind. Imagine starting every day with such harshness. How could peace or joy possibly grow in that soil? When you replace that voice with compassion, you change the entire emotional climate of your life. Saying to yourself, "Today, I will meet myself in the world with compassion," is like opening a window in a dark room and letting light stream in. Compassion is not about denial. It doesn't mean pretending that mistakes don't matter or that suffering is pleasant. Instead, it is the willingness to face reality as it is, without the added weight of cruelty. When you stumble, compassion says, "Yes, this is difficult, but you are worthy of patience." When others lash out, compassion whispers, "They too are carrying burdens unseen." This way of seeing softens judgment and breaks the cycle of blame. Mother Teresa once said, "We cannot all do great things, but we can do small things with great love." This echoes perfectly with Buddhist wisdom. A compassionate life is not built on heroic gestures but on small, steady acts. Forgiving yourself for yesterday's shortcomings. Smiling at a stranger. Offering a kind word when it would be easier to stay silent. These small things accumulate. They create ripples of peace that expand outward, touching lives you may never even meet. Modern psychology confirms the ancient insight. Studies show that practicing self-compassion lowers anxiety and depression, strengthens resilience, and even improves physical health. When the inner voice shifts from harshness to kindness, the nervous system relaxes, allowing creativity and clarity to flourish. Steve Jobs, for example, spoke of how learning to observe and soften the inner critic gave him the freedom to take bold creative risks. Compassion, in this sense, is not sentimentality, it is strength. In Buddhism, compassion is visualized as a radiant light at the center of the chest, warming you first, then expanding to others. Imagine beginning your day by picturing that light. It starts small, embracing your own fatigue, your own worries, then it grows, reaching your family, your coworkers, strangers in traffic, even those who frustrate you. Before long, you are walking through the day as a carrier of warmth rather than criticism. To meet yourself in the world with compassion is to live as though every being, including you, deserves tenderness. It transforms how you speak, how you act, how you see, and it begins, quite simply, with a sentence you whisper at dawn: "Today, I will meet myself in the world with compassion." 2. I am not my thoughts, I am the awareness behind them. When you remind yourself, "I am not my thoughts, I am the awareness behind them," you are stepping into one of the deepest realizations of Buddhist wisdom. The human mind is a restless storyteller, constantly weaving narratives about who we are, what might go wrong, and how others see us. One moment it tells you that you're not enough. The next it drags you back into regrets about yesterday, or pushes you into fear about tomorrow. Buddhism teaches us that this mental chatter is not the self, it is simply mental formations. Impermanent and ever-changing. Think of thoughts as clouds drifting across an infinite sky. Some are light and harmless, others heavy and dark, but all of them pass. The sky itself never disappears, it simply allows. You are that sky. When we confuse ourselves with the clouds, we suffer. But when we remember we are the vast awareness that notices them, we regain freedom. Modern psychology echoes this ancient truth. Research on mindfulness shows that people who observe their thoughts without clinging to them experience lower anxiety and greater clarity. Instead of being pulled into every inner drama, they create space between stimulus and response. Steve Jobs once spoke about how meditation helped him see his thoughts rather than be ruled by them, which gave him the courage to create beyond fear of failure. That same shift is available to all of us. Imagine waking up to a flood of self-criticism. You're behind. You'll never get it all done. Instead of believing those words, try saying, "That's just a thought." In that moment, you create distance. You stand as the observer, not the victim. The thought drifts away, and what remains is the calm, stable awareness that has always been there. This practice does not mean suppressing thoughts or trying to make the mind silent. It means recognizing thoughts as passing events, like birds crossing the sky, while remembering that you are the open, spacious awareness in which they appear. Over time, This perspective transforms how you live. Challenges still come, storms still form, but you are no longer lost inside them. You are the sky itself, vast, steady, and free. Free. I choose peace over control. The desire to control everything around us is one of the greatest illusions of human life. We want people to act the way we expect. We want circumstances to unfold according to our plans. And we want the future to match the picture in our heads. But the Buddha taught that clinging to control is a direct cause of suffering. Why? Because life is fluid, unpredictable, and impermanent. The more we tighten our grip, the more pain we feel when things inevitably slip through our fingers. Think about it. How often have you spent hours replaying conversations in your mind, wishing you had said something different, or worrying about what someone else will do tomorrow? That effort drains your energy. Yet it changes nothing. The only thing you can truly guide is your own mind, your own response. Warren Buffett captured this truth simply. You can't control outcomes, but you can control your attitude. Buddhism says the same in different words. Peace comes not from bending the world to your will, but from softening your will to meet the world. When we choose peace over control, we learn to surrender, not as weakness, but as wisdom. Surrender means flowing like a river. The river doesn't resist the rocks or branches in its way, it moves around them. Sometimes gently, sometimes with force, but always forward. In the same way, we can meet life's obstacles with flexibility instead of rigidity. The more we fight reality, the more bruises we collect. The more we yield, the freer we become. This shift has profound psychological effects. Studies in resilience show that people who accept uncertainty suffer less anxiety than those who try to predict or dominate every outcome. Acceptance doesn't mean passivity, it means we act with clarity, but release our attachment to the result. Imagine preparing for a job interview. You can study, practice, and show up fully present, but the final decision rests with others. If you cling to the outcome, you create fear. If you rest in peace, you create freedom. Buddhist practice invites us to repeat, I choose peace over control. Like a gentle mantra, each time you feel tension rise, the urge to fix, to force, to perfect, pause, breathe, and remind yourself of this truth. Over time, you will discover that letting go is not losing. It is gaining back your energy, your clarity, and your joy. To live without control is to finally live with peace. 4. Each breath brings me back to the present. The breath is the most ordinary thing in our lives, and yet it holds extraordinary power. From a Buddhist perspective, the breath is not just a biological function, it is a bridge. A thread that ties the wandering mind back to the present moment. Thich Nhat Hanh beautifully described mindful breathing as a bridge from the mind of chaos to the mind of peace. When you feel anxiety rise, when your chest tightens with worry, notice how the simple act of inhaling and exhaling can reset everything. In early Buddhist texts, the practice of anapanasati, mindfulness of breathing, was considered a complete path to awakening. Why? Because the breath is always available, always happening in real time. You cannot breathe yesterday's breath, and you cannot jump ahead to tomorrow's. Every inhale is now, every exhale is now. In this way, the breath becomes an anchor, grounding us in reality instead of in the endless stories our mind creates. Think of a time when stress consumed you, maybe waiting for medical results, or replaying an argument. The mind spins faster and faster, but the breath offers a choice. Instead of feeding the storm, you take one slow inhale, one slow exhale. That simple pause interrupts the cycle of fear. Neuroscience confirms what the Buddha taught. Conscious breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, lowering heart rate and calming the body. Modern therapy borrows this technique because it works across cultures and centuries. But the breath is more than a tool for stress relief. It is also a reminder of interconnection. Every breath you take is shared with trees, oceans, and countless unseen lives. Inhaling, you receive the gift of oxygen. Exhaling, you return it to the world. This awareness transforms a private act into a shared rhythm of life. You realize you are not separate, but part of something vast and alive. When you affirm, each breath brings me back to the present, you are choosing presence over distraction, clarity over confusion. You don't need to fix the entire future in this moment. You only need to return, again and again, to the breath that is already carrying you. Over time, This practice reshapes the nervous system, softens the heart, and trains the mind to find peace not in some distant goal, but in the simplicity of now. 5. Happiness is already within me. The belief that happiness lies somewhere outside of us, in wealth, status, or the approval of others, is one of the most common illusions of human life. Buddhism has been teaching for over 2.500 years that true happiness is not something we chase, it is something we uncover. The Buddha often compared it to a clear spring hidden beneath the mud. The water has always been there, but our cravings and attachments cloud our vision. When we stop grasping, the water reveals itself. Most of us have been conditioned to link happiness with achievement. We tell ourselves, I'll be happy when I get that job, when I lose weight, when I find the right partner. But notice what happens once those things arrive. The happiness quickly fades, and the mind begins searching for the next condition. Psychologists call this the hedonic treadmill, the cycle of wanting more and never feeling complete. The Buddhist path offers an exit from that treadmill, the discovery that contentment is already present in this very breath. Take a moment right now to notice the fact that you are alive. Your lungs expand, your heart beats, your senses are working. This is a miracle often overlooked. Thich Nhat Hanh would remind his students to smile at the simplest of gifts, a sip of tea, a child's laughter, the sensation of feet touching the ground. That smile is not denial of life's difficulties, it is recognition that joy can coexist with imperfection. The Dalai Lama expressed it clearly: happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions and attitudes. This means we cultivate happiness not by rearranging the outside world but by nurturing gratitude, compassion, and presence inside. When we look closely, we see that happiness grows not from having more, but from needing less. Even modern science affirms this. Studies on gratitude practices show that people who pause daily to appreciate simple blessings report higher well-being than those chasing material rewards. What the Buddha taught through direct experience, neuroscience now measures in brain scans. When you affirm, happiness is already within me, you remind yourself that nothing external has to change for joy to appear. You breathe, you smile, you notice, and suddenly, life feels lighter. The world outside may remain unpredictable, but the well of happiness inside you never runs dry, it only waits for you to return to it. 6. Everything changes, and that's okay. One of the most profound truths the Buddha taught is anicca, the principle of impermanence. Nothing we experience, no joy, no sorrow, no relationship, no possession, remains fixed. The seasons shift, bodies age, emotions rise and fall like tides. Yet instead of embracing this flow, most of us cling. We cling to pleasure, hoping it will last forever, or resist pain, praying it will vanish instantly. And it is in that clinging that suffering is born. When you remind yourself, everything changes, and that's okay, you're not reciting a cold fact, you're practicing liberation. Imagine holding a handful of sand. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips through your fingers. Life is the same. When we try to freeze it, we end up losing what we love even quicker. But when we hold gently, accepting the shifting nature of things, we can actually enjoy them more fully while they last. Think back to a moment of deep grief, a heartbreak, the loss of a job, or even a period of illness. At the time, it felt permanent, unbearable, and yet, here you are, standing beyond it. The storm passed. It always does. The phrase, "this too shall pass," resonates so deeply across cultures because it captures this universal reality. Pain is not forever, and neither is joy. Both are visitors. The wise host greets them, learns from them, and then lets them go. Modern psychology affirms this Buddhist view. Studies on resilience show that those who accept impermanence bounce back faster from adversity. They don't waste energy fighting what they cannot stop. Instead, they adapt. And adaptation is the key to survival and well-being. The Stoic philosophers of the West came to similar conclusions. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make of it." But impermanence is not just about loss. It is also a promise of renewal. Spring always follows winter. A broken heart can open to deeper compassion. Even failure can transform into wisdom. When we embrace change, we step into life's rhythm rather than resisting it. So the next time you feel yourself clinging, Whether to happiness you fear will fade or to pain you're desperate to escape, pause and whisper. Everything changes, and that's okay. In those words lies freedom, the courage to let go, the strength to endure, and the wisdom to trust that life, in all its shifting colors, is still worth living. 7. My actions today can benefit all beings. Every action we take, no matter how small, carries ripples far beyond what we can see. Buddhism teaches this through the principle of karma, not as punishment or reward, but as cause and effect. When you plant a seed of kindness, patience, or generosity, it may look insignificant in the moment, but over time it grows into something much larger. Think of it like throwing a pebble into a still pond. The ripples extend outward in every direction, touching shores you may never reach. Modern science now echoes what the Buddha intuited centuries ago. Psychologists call it emotional contagion, the idea that our moods and behaviors spread to others like invisible currents. A smile at a stranger in the morning can lift their mood, which influences how they treat the next person, and so on. What started as a single act may change the tone of an entire day for dozens of people. In Buddhist thought, this is interdependence, the understanding that we are not isolated individuals but part of a vast web of life. It's easy to underestimate our power when we imagine change only in grand gestures, donating millions, leading revolutions, solving global crises. But the Buddha emphasized that daily, ordinary actions are where transformation begins. Holding the door for someone, speaking gently instead of harshly, choosing patience in traffic, these are not trivial. They are seeds of peace. Over time, the collective harvest of such seeds can shift the atmosphere of a household, a community, even a culture. History gives us powerful reminders. Think of figures like Gandhi or Martin Luther King Jr., whose lives embodied compassionate action. They often said that their movements were not about heroic individuals but about countless ordinary people making mindful choices in their daily lives. The same principle applies to us. Greatness is not required, sincerity is. So when you affirm, "My actions today can benefit all beings," you're not promising to solve every problem in the world. You're committing to take responsibility for the energy you release into the world right now. One kind word, one patient breath, one smile. These are not small things. They are the beginning of peace. And the beauty of karma is that what you send out inevitably returns. By uplifting others, you uplift yourself. By serving life, life serves you back. 8. I walk the path with courage and gentleness. Life constantly demands that we step into the unknown. Uncertainty, loss, and fear are inevitable companions on this path. To meet them, we need courage, the willingness to face what is uncomfortable, to take a step even when the outcome is not guaranteed. In Buddhism, courage is not about recklessness or aggression. It is about steadfastness, about showing up fully in the present moment no matter how difficult it is. The Buddha himself demonstrated this when he sat beneath the Bodhi tree, refusing to move until awakening was realized. That was an act of ultimate courage, not the courage of conquest, but the courage of stillness. Yet courage alone can harden the heart if it is not balanced. This is where gentleness enters. To be gentle is not to be weak, it is to temper strength with compassion. The Zen image of the samurai is a perfect metaphor, trained in discipline and fearlessness, but also taught to cultivate inner calm and kindness. Strength without gentleness becomes cruelty. Gentleness without strength becomes fragility. Together, they form a harmony that makes us resilient yet tender. Modern psychology calls this balance, self-compassion with grit. People who face challenges with determination but also treat themselves kindly when they stumble are far more likely to succeed and sustain their well-being. Think of it this way: courage says, "I will face this storm." Gentleness says, "And I will not punish myself for being afraid." Both voices are needed if we are to walk through life whole. When you remind yourself, "I walk the path with courage and gentleness," you are shaping an inner posture that can hold both fire and water. You stand strong when the world tests you, yet you soften toward yourself and others when mistakes or pain arise. Every step then becomes an expression of balance, firm, but not rigid, soft, but not weak, and in that balance lies true freedom, the ability to move through life's uncertainty with both strength and grace. May these 8 simple but powerful truths become your companions each morning. 1. I live with compassion. 2. I am not my thoughts. 3. I choose peace over control. 4. Each breath returns me to the present. 5. Happiness is already within me. 6. Everything is impermanent, and that is enough. 7. My actions today can benefit all beings. 8. I walk the path with courage and gentleness. Take one slow breath in, release it gently, and smile into the day ahead. Carry these affirmations as lanterns to guide your steps, especially in times of darkness. If today's reflection brought you even a moment of calm or clarity, we invite you to subscribe to Dharma Veins. This is a space where timeless Buddhist wisdom meets daily life, offering you tools to navigate stress, doubt, and uncertainty with strength and kindness. By joining, you are not just following a channel, you are becoming part of a mindful community walking this path together. At this moment, when the world is shaken by natural disasters, wars, and countless forms of human suffering, let us also pause to send a shared prayer, inspired by the compassion of the Buddha. May all beings who suffer in body and mind find relief. May those caught in fear discover courage. May those surrounded by violence encounter peace. May every heart, near or far, taste freedom and safety in this very lifetime. As we close, I would love to hear from you. Which of the 8 affirmations spoke most deeply to your heart today? And how might you carry it into your own life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your words may become the very encouragement someone else needs to hear. Together, let us walk with compassion, awareness, and gentle strength. May you be well, may you be free, and may peace accompany you always.